Hello, fellow interneters, and welcome again, as always, to another edition of Newton Daily News Sports Chat, alongside Mike Hockett. I am Shane Lucas. As usual, we're bringing you the hot button issues of what's going on in sports in Jasper County. Jumping right into it, Mike. The boys from Newton got a big win this past Friday.
Yep, their second one of the season, and that makes them 2-1 at home this season. So I mean, when they're playing at home, they seem to just be looking better out there. And yeah, they won 17-0 over or 17-7 over Dallas Center Grimes. But it was a game that anyone watching probably felt like Newton probably should have won that game by significantly more. Newton just looked like the better team the whole game long. Dallas Center Grimes had a lot of turnovers that Newton just really couldn't take advantage of to blow the game open like they probably should have. But in the first quarter, the offense was really clicking. They were up 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Colin Reynolds, that wide receiver, was just catching everything thrown his way. He had 10 catches in the first half, and he ended up with 100. I think it was 170 something yards, which was a school record. So obviously a big game for him. And Tyler Wood at quarterback was looking pretty good for the most part. Threw a couple interceptions, but thankfully they had a 17-0 lead by the time that those happened. Mm-hmm. But so yeah, it was a big win for them. It keeps them right in the thick of the playoff race, and yeah, they still have a couple big district games left, and if they can win both, they'll definitely be in. And I think with the way things work out, they can still technically lose one of those games and still get in. But the surest way to get in is just to win those two games.
Mm-hmm. Now, Colin Reynolds, obviously, he's a multi-sport athlete, very talented basketball player, baseball player as well. Is he getting any looks, you think, for post-high school?
I haven't heard anything. I haven't really heard discussions on that, but I gotta think that coaches are at least. I don't know if he's getting any major colleges looking at him, but I gotta think that at least the local ones around here gotta be looking at him, because right now he's actually second in Class 3A in receiving yards.
Okay.
So I mean, for as kind of bad as Newton's offense has been this season, he's definitely been a big bright spot for him.
Not only statistics, but the size, speed. I mean, he's got the body, I'd say, for playing after high school. But keep an eye on it.
Yeah. You went and saw Linville selling on Friday, and that was just. I mean, if last week's game was a blowout, this past week's game was even more so.
Right. Yeah. 70-0. Another big win. The 70 came on a pick six with about 17 seconds left, so maybe 70 is a little misleading, but. I mean, again, 2 weeks in a row, Linville still dominated start to finish. They scored their first touchdown just a couple minutes in, went for a 2-point for good measure to kind of set the tone, I guess, for the rest of the night. But Bailey Sampson, the junior, was just kind of a man among boys again. 4 total touchdowns. One of them was on a punt return, which really impressive. I haven't seen a punt return yet this season for a touchdown. And, I mean, he did kind of the whole gamut of dodging tackles, going horizontal, took it all the way. So offense looked good as usual. Defense is also very strong. Couple of sacks, couple of turnovers. They kind of rebounded earlier. They gave up a fumble in the red zone, got it back. I think a few plays later, ended up scoring. So overall, just another good effort for Linville. Selling, they're rolling right now.
Yeah, they started out. What was it in those non-conference games? They lost. What was it? Pella Christian. Obviously, that was a bigger school, and then their only other loss was to Pekin, who's one of the top teams in Class A. So. With those kind of tough games out of the way, it seems like they're really kind of clicking right now.
Right, and they have a few, maybe 1 or 2, I don't want to say easy games, but not too tough of opponents left, and they have Montezuma in the end, which should determine, I believe, the second spot in the district as long as Pekin doesn't slip up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean they're rolling right now. They're playing their brand of football, so they're excited about that.
All right, then the other, as far as last night's action, the big story for Newton going on was Newton boys golf. It sounds crazy to say that their season came to an end last night, but obviously they had their state qualifying district meet and came up just a little bit short, it sounded like.
Yeah, I mean, compared to some of the other scores, they had a really good round with 317. 7 strokes shy as a team for making it to state. Almost beat Des Moines Roosevelt, who they've been kind of trying to beat all year. They've been getting the best one, finished 1 stroke ahead of them. They were bummed, obviously, for being that close, but I still think they had a pretty good round as a team. Austin Shores, 1 stroke shy of making it as an individual. He was definitely bummed. Talked to him afterwards. Don't blame him for that.
It sounded like he had kind of a below-average first round that he was thinking. Then in his second night, he really really gave himself a chance there.
Yeah, he and Devin both actually. I was there when they came off they started on the back 9, finished up on the front. They both came off the back, looking pretty discouraged. Coach Riley was saying, they're in the 40s, low 40s, something like that. But yeah, strong rounds on the front 9. to come back. And Devin had a good round as well.
Mm-hmm.
They both fell a little bit short. And Corey Hartner was a freshman, kind of been on the lower end of the scores most of the year. Came up with an 82 yesterday, so came up real big for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking maybe I could spark him on for next year. Just a freshman, so something to build on for the future. And you did a little switching up from your normal routine, saw Newton volleyball.
Yeah. The first time I saw them all season. They were slumping for a while, kind of the middle of the season. Then they had a couple tournaments where they picked up some good wins. But last night they were back in conference action at Grinnell. They lost 3-1. It was just, you could really tell they were just two evenly matched teams. The first set went 29-27 for Grinnell, so right there you knew that it was going to be that kind of a night, just real tightly played. And they lost 3-1, but each game was really just real competitive. And I just know it's another conference loss for them, so that drops them to 0-4 in the World Hawkeye Conference. So they're really still looking for that first conference win. And they got a couple more big matches coming up on next Tuesday. They'll be hosting Oskaloosa, who's ranked 13th. And then Newton already knows who they're playing in the postseason. They'll be hosting Pella on the 22nd. So they really want to try to get a few more wins here to build some momentum going into that.
It's kind of hard to tell from me. Obviously, I've seen it more than you have, but they played it. So many of their sets all season have been back and forth, those tight things. So I guess I don't know if you saw anything last night where they don't necessarily screw it up. Mm-hmm. It's just that things just kind of don't go their way. So I don't know if something you noticed.
Yeah, there was stretches in two of the sets that they lost where it seemed like half the points that Grinnell scored were because Newton was hitting long. You're just going for kills that were just going out of bounds and stuff. So a lot of the stuff was just things that I don't know, just kind of self-inflicted stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, moving forward to big weekend in sports is coming up here. Another Newton football game. Another big win. Just kind of keep the train rolling, try to get some more momentum going for potential postseason berth.
Yeah, and they're definitely going to have their work cut out for them. It's a non-district game at ADM in Adele, and ADM is ranked 8th. It's going to be, I think, the 4th top 8 team that Newton will play this season. So it could be a tough one for them, but I know it's not just a throwaway game because it's a non-district one. They still want to do some good things in that game, get a little more confidence going into their senior night game next week against Sadell at home. But ADM, they're one of the top teams on both sides of the ball. I think they're ranked 6th in rushing and passing in 3A, so pretty much one of the most balanced teams you're going to find. ADM, they're 5-1, but they did lose their first game last week against Atlantic, so anything can happen in that sort of stuff.
Was it last year, Newton and ADM, the real close game? ADM kind of squeaked out the end?
Newton, they actually were up 10-7 early in the third quarter in that game, and then ADM just kind of woke up and kind of steamrolled from there. But for more than a half, Newton was playing right with them, so we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. And then PCM, they got another big game. They host Clark. That seems like a winnable game, and it's, as far as playoff contention-wise, it's one PCM is really going to want to have this one.
Yeah, they're they recovered. They kind of had a few slip-ups in non-district schedule as well, so they got a few wins off there. They lost to Albia last week, who I believe is 2nd in the district. PCM sitting at 3rd or 4th. Mm-hmm. Albia is a tough team. They're 5-1 this year, so PCM gave them a run for their money. Yeah, Clark started 3-0. They've lost their past few games. Just looking at their stats, defensively they have no interceptions this season, which if you're playing against PCM, that's a problem because you got Nate Vanderwall, who is 2nd in the state in passing yards, 2nd in the state in touchdowns, and he's got Ethan Kane, who was 3rd in the state in receiving yards with 806 and 13 touchdowns. Wow. So, that offense is about as hot as it gets. Vanderwall threw for 409 yards, I believe, last week, 3 touchdowns. Yeah. So, look for them to keep airing it out. They haven't figured out the running game yet, but PCM's offense is scoring points at the best of them right now, so could be a high-scoring game on Friday.
And then, that kind of takes care of just what we're looking forward to as far as football Friday night. Then I guess, we can just kind of go into what's coming up the rest of the week. That starts on Thursday. We got some area cross-country action. CMB is at South Hamilton Invitational. Limbo is at invite at Montezuma. And then also on Thursday, the only Newton team in action is the NCMP Aqua Girls. They're at Boone, and if they win, I believe if they win that duel, that will tie them for the most duel wins in a single season for Aqua Girl history. So I know they'll really be wanting to get that one. And then volleyball action, we got PCM at Nevada and CMB at Gilbert. And then that brings us to Friday, which is Football Friday again. Like we said, Newton is at 8 a.m. PCM hosts Clark. CMB is also at home hosting, is it LB or LBI?
LB, I believe.
Yeah, one of those ones I could never get right.
Either one.
And then
Colfax, that's why we just have to write it. We don't have to say it.
And then Colfax Mingles at Des Moines Christian, and Linville Sully hosts North Mahaska. And then Saturday, the only thing going on area-wise is PCM volleyball is at tournament in Pella, and then that pretty much takes care of the area slate. Then just Iowa State is at TCU. Obviously, they're going to be a big underdog for that one, but they're always an underdog.
Yeah,
so.
That's right. And another big test with Steele James kind of on the the seesaw right now with a lot
He's
of
really on the hot seat, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So it'll be big for him. That's the only show in town, isn't it? Iowa State or Iowa and I are both off. So
yeah.
A lot of eyes on ISU. So yeah, Steele might be feeling the pressure a little bit. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that wraps it up for us. As always, we welcome any comments, criticisms, praise, especially. Working on getting a backdrop. You know, that's the one, the big problem so far with the viewers. But
sure.
Working on getting that to enhance your viewing pleasure. And yep, that wraps it up for us. And we will see you out there the next few days.